Okay, seriously though, the NFL draft has been over for about a week, and I'm still hearing people talk about it, as well as reading articles on the fact that every team's worst pick in the NFL draft. Guys, you didn't pick them. I didn't pick them. The teams you rooted for picked them. If you really want to complain how bad they are or how good they are, just watch them play. Or better yet, just look at the preseason tryouts. I mean, Hard Knocks is going to be doing one on an NFL team soon. Whatever team it is, you'll see then. But anyway, I guess that's just me. But with that said, happy Sunday, everybody. Or if this was yesterday's video, I'd say Felices Domingo, which is happy Sunday. And yeah, we're coming near the end of the weekend. But again, if this was yesterday's video, I would have said El fin del fin de semana, which translates to the end of the weekend. But that was... Well, you know what? There are a few things I didn't quite get to talk about in yesterday's video, so how about we fix some of that? Starting with the fact that I could have paid more attention to the fact that yesterday was the day of the Derby. I mean, I had talked about the Derby several times throughout the week before, so I didn't quite feel it necessary to talk about, but I guess I can talk about the results. I mean, I know absolutely nothing about horse racing, so anything I do say will most likely be kind of wrong. But honestly, when we ever get to the Derby, then the Preakness in 2 weeks, and then the Belmont Stakes, honestly, the only thing I hope for is that we get another Triple Crown winner. I mean, the last Triple Crown winner we had was American Pharoah in 2015. But you know how long it was before that? Over 30 years. Yeah. Actually. Yeah, it was over 30 years. Since, was it? Affirmed. Affirmed was the one who did it last time. So I guess now we're going to have to be rooting for Justify. So good luck to Justify. I hope they win both the Preakness and the Belmont, but we'll never know. But I heard it was a pretty decent time. It was pretty rainy down in Churchill Town, so nice and muddy course or whatever. That sounds like fun, right? Who doesn't like to play in the mud sometimes, get a little dirty? It's fun. So anyway, I didn't quite get to finish talking about the Donkey Kong franchise because there are two other games that I could have mentioned that I didn't, and the first one being Donkey Kong 64. I mean, I should talk about a lot of games that involve the Nintendo 64 because if not the Nintendo or the NES or the Super Nintendo or the SNES or SNES, most likely everyone's first console for Nintendo was the N64. And boy, let me tell you, my brother and I played the bejeepers out of it. I can't tell you how many games we've played and beaten on that system that we sometimes still talk about today. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about in terms of games, and believe me, we will be getting into that. I will be getting into that later, but I talked about Donkey Kong yesterday for the Super Nintendo, so how about I talk about Donkey Kong for N64 and then another game later down the line, and that is Donkey Kong 64 was a pretty awesome game. Developed by Rare, and It's long. I mean, to 100% the game, you basically have to do what any gamer would refer to as klepto times 5. See, klepto is, I guess, derogatory term used to describe someone who collects everything, and times 5 because you're not only playing as Donkey Kong, but you're playing as Diddy Kong, Lanky Kong, who looks like an orangutan, Tiny Kong, who's Dixie Kong's little sister, and Chunky Kong, which is Kitty Kong's older brother. And as weird and silly as those names are, and as funny as the game is, it really is a lot of fun. If you can ever find it online, or actually, can you play it on emulators? I think you might be able to. I don't know. So yeah, if you can play it, it was really fun. When my brother and I got it, we got it for the N64. It came in like a yellow cartridge. That was awesome. Usually you'd have to be like a Game Boy game for something like that. Case in point, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. There's that. So we played that game, had a lot of fun. Took forever and a day to beat it. And for a long time, nothing really great happened. I mean, there was Donkey Kong games on the GameCube, but they involved playing with like bongos that really didn't make much sense or whatever. And then for the Wii, we finally got Donkey Kong Country Returns. And for my brother and I, it was a tour de force and tour de form. We loved it. You know, my brother and I were in our 20s playing this game, and we had a blast. So of course, when we got the Wii, when I got my Wii U, I immediately was counting down the days till Tropical Freeze came out, so I could play it, and we loved it. It was a lot of fun, which is why I got it again for the Nintendo Switch, and that's where we are now. Could I have not purchased it for the Nintendo Switch? Yeah. Would have honestly saved me like $30 considering that I paid $25 of it via gift card. But honestly, Donkey Kong Country is a franchise that I grew up with. It's most likely a franchise that a lot of you all grew up with. And honestly, that franchise needs support. Not that it's in trouble or anything, but if you give your money and support that franchise, we could be getting more games that are potentially as good, if not better. Seriously, second time Tropical Freeze was released, and IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. Second time in a row. So that's gotta be good, right? But that's just me. I mean, if not for you, if you have children, get it for them. Let them grow up with Donkey Kong. They should. And give your kids an opportunity to grow up with something that's timeless and worthwhile. Or better yet, if you grew up with it, and if you have kids, get it for them even more. It gives you something to bond over. And that'd be great, right? But that's just me. In the end, it's entirely up to you. So, I guess there is that. I mean, Cinco de Mayo is over. The Kentucky Derby came and went. And honestly, that's about all we have for today. I mean, I could talk about a friend of mine who just had a baby shower that I've alluded to before, but honestly, that's really about it. Although, if you are watching, to my friend who had that baby shower, congratulations. I am so happy for you, and you always have my support. And speaking of support, like, favorite, share, and please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And remember, if you guys ever want to talk, or if you guys ever want to chat, I'll always be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. So please take care. And don't worry, I'm not doing that outro in Spanish for a little while.